So you realize that you, quote unquote, are in the wanting state, right?
I realize that.
No, I'm saying in someone realizes they're in a wanting state. And then when they're in the wanting state, they can go, you know what? Do I really want that? Is that something that I would like to experience?
Your intuition will tell you.
Right. That will kill it right there.
Do I want that? Is the killer?
Is this something I would like in my experience?
When you ask that question, it kills it.
Oh, when you ask that, it depends on the answer you get from your intuition. So if your intuition is like, no, it's dead there. Okay, it's dead right there. You don't need to go and sit there and try to figure out every aspect of it. You just simply.
Hello, friends. So everyone was waiting. Everyone's here.
Of course they're waiting.
Of course they're waiting. We are streaming this class on Instagram and on the community. This is an impromptu, random class that Andre wanted to teach because of a conversation he had yesterday.
Yep.
No, you're not late. We were just having a little chat while it was starting up. Okay. Hello. So this will be recorded and posted on both Instagram and in the community. So if you get here late or whatever, if you have to leave early, that's no problem. You can just catch up later on. For those of you who don't know who this man in the red shirt is, that's Andre, my partner. And we do this together. So hello, everyone. Y'all know who he is in the community. Today, we're going to be talking about why the ideal outcomes don't happen the way we want them to. So, Andre can get started whenever he's ready.
I'm drinking.
He's drinking his pineapple Starbucks. Yeah. The pineapple. Hello, ciao. Leslie, David, Felicia, Caroline.
What up?
Adriana.
Adriana, hello.
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, we might know her. We might know her.
She might have seen me naked.
Yeah, that happened, I guess.
Yes, I'm going to keep talking about it forever because it was so funny.
Anyway.
The unknowable man. Hey, John's here. Tamara.
What up?
Nor and Clarissa.
Just a whole party.
Ellie, hi. Yeah, there's lots of people here.
Oh, party.
All right, we're going to get started anytime. It's going to be a good one.
I'm not done drinking yet.
Okay, fine. Hello, Brenda.
What up?
Yeah. It's funny because a lot of this information is like circles. It comes back to itself when we talk about it.
Of course.
And it's, yeah. So.
All right. We're going to dispense with the introductions and we're going to get straight to the lesson. So, first and foremost, how are you all doing? Hopefully miserable. Hopefully miserable.
Why?
I don't know. I just felt like saying that.
I hope you are all miserable.
I hope you're having a terrible day. Absolutely miserable. Because then I get to come in and brighten it up for you.
Oh my God. The funniest comment on one of my posts about that.
What is that?
Well, it wasn't exactly about being miserable, but this guy was like, how could you encourage people to be rude? Like, I trained my kids to be people pleasers so that they could get help from other people. And I was like, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I was like, damn. Doing well. Okay. Amazing day. That's great, Stacy. Lots of feelings. Very A. Much better.
I say I hope they're miserable and also they're having a good day. God damn it.
Kind of surviving. Interesting. Why not?
God damn it. Can't you follow the script? I handed one to you before you got here. All right. So let's talk about it. That's what we do here. We talk about it. So why do the ideal outcomes in your experience don't happen? Well, let's talk about some examples in which this may be the case in your life. And if this is you, put it in the chat. Okay. Maybe you work a particular type of job, right? And you thought that job was going to be it for you. And so you work really hard at that job. Bust your ass. You spend so much time at that job, etc., etc., etc. Right? Alternatively, let's say that you started a business. And you started this business because you had the brilliant idea that you are going to somehow make billions and billions of dollars and you're going to be the happiest pig in shit possible. So you start your business. You start putting in the work. But you're not really getting the results that you're looking for. So you're not really making any money. You're not getting the clients that you're looking for. You're not blah, 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 blah. Okay? Let's even take it outside of money in the business and talk about relationships. Okay? So you want the ideal relationship to come into your experience, whether it be a business interaction or whether it be someone that you can love and cherish and respect for all eternity. And that doesn't really work out. You think you found them, but all of a sudden it just doesn't really click. There's something about it that just isn't hitting. Okay? Now, put in the chat. Have you experienced any of these things that I've mentioned?
Oh, yes.
If you identify as a human being, you have done this. Like, yeah. Maybe if you're a lizard, you know.
A lizard?
Yeah. You know, or a tree. A tree.
A tree may not have done this, indeed.
So, put in the chat.
Yes, ma'am. If you say no, it's bullshit. Yeah, Natalie. Yes, Leslie. Yes, Adriana, definitely. Maya said, nah, never.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right, Maya. Sure. Wink. You know, sure.
That's funny.
All right. So this type of thing happens a lot, right? And in fact, it happens in all of our experiences. We go out of our way to try to create the ideal outcome. And that ideal outcome never pass. Maybe you get part of it. Maybe you get part of it. But there's always something missing. Now, how many of you can identify with that? Put that in the chat. Okay? How many of you can identify with getting part of what you wanted, but it's not the whole thing? Okay? No matter what you do.
Oh yeah, like partial, yes.
Yeah.
Stacy, Adriana, Maria.
Yeah. You get part of it. It's like, hey, I'm getting clients for my business, but I absolutely hate my clients. I can't stand them. Hey, I have a boyfriend or a girlfriend that absolutely is amazing, but I can't stand that they do this behavior. Whatever the case is. There's no large or small here. It's just what it is, right? There's always something off. It's never just right. Okay? And the more that you attempt to control that outcome, the worse it gets. All right? The more that you attempt to control that outcome, the worse it gets.
Yep.
Now, I know that you've had experience with that. Now, why I was inspired to do this class today, because last night, just before I was going to go to bed, I had a conversation. Nice little chat. And someone actually said this phrase to me. And I went, wow, that's amazing. And by the end of today, you will know why this phrase is incredibly limiting, even though it seems like it's unlimited. Okay? This phrase was this: I'm supposed to be where I am right now. I'm supposed to be where I am right now. Do you have any idea, before we even get into the rest of the class, do you have any idea how much this statement here is used to justify why people stay stuck in their lives? And like I said, by the end of today, by the end of this class, you will know why.
Can I just take a screenshot of the board really quick? Just move over that way, just a smidge. Thank you very much. All right, here we go. Thank you. We're good.
All right. So we say this phrase, I'm supposed to be where I am right now. My experience. There is nowhere else I'm supposed to be. Incredibly limiting statement. How many of you have said this phrase?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm supposed to be. I must. Yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. That's why it's still happening.
Yes.
That's why it's still happening.
That's why it's still happening.
Life is testing me. Yeah. Yes, Felicia. Which sounds victim-y. Yeah. Maya said, damn, I thought this was supposed to help us get rid of the resistance of the present moment. Valerie said it a few minutes ago. Damn.
Interesting. Interesting. This phrase, I'm supposed to be where I am right now, is the resistance to your present experience. Right here. That phrase. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about why this happens. When we work from obligation, it makes life very difficult. Maybe you've experienced this in your life when you're like, I have to do this, I have to do that, I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do that. There is a lot of resistance to doing what you want to do. There's a lot of it. No matter how much work you put into it, you continue to work from a sense of obligation because you feel like you have to earn being yourself. Let me repeat that. You feel like you have to earn being yourself, earn having your experience, earn, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? You do this in every aspect of your life, not just certain areas. I like when people are like, well, I don't do that here. No, you do. Okay, you definitely do. Period. You would never need to say that you didn't if you didn't. You definitely do that right then and there. Okay? Period. You do it right then and there, and you do it with every aspect of your life. You are rationalizing your experience. And this is what we do all the time. We rationalize our existence. Oh, if I'm not doing this, then I'm not a real person, or whatever the case. In my Monday mentorship class, I did an example where I talked about how men are, expected to be real men, stuff their feelings down and just bear it and do what they're supposed to do, suffer as much as possible to make sure that everyone else thrives. That's complete nonsense. Because that man is sitting there miserable. The people around him are miserable because he's never around. And we have exactly why we're talking about right now. So that man gets part of what he's looking for. He gets the money, but he had to make a bunch of sacrifices to get it. Now, nobody wants to make sacrifices. No one. Tell me right now that you want to make sacrifices in your life. Go ahead. Lie to me. Put it in the chat.
Is that even real?
Is what even real?
Real man.
Yeah, what is that?
What is that? Yeah.
Exactly.
Do I want to make sacrifices?
Yeah. Lie to me.
I would like to sacrifice something.
Well, she lied to me. Nobody wants to do that.
Fuck no, Adrian.
And nobody wants to do that.
I'd rather just die than make sacrifices.
Well, that in that of itself would be a sacrifice, now wouldn't it?
I adore sacrificing stuff, apparently. Interesting.
Apparently. That's not what I asked.
No.
I said if you wanted to, not whether or not you enjoy it.
If I didn't like it, I wouldn't keep doing it.
That's false. That's false. That falls under the I'm supposed to be where I am right now. That falls under that category. So whoever said that, you get a cookie. Now, it may or may not be poisoned.
There's an enjoyment there.
Yes. Enjoying something and liking it are not the same. Okay. Enjoyment, just for those who don't know. Okay. Enjoyment is simply the act of repeating the behavior. That is it. If you continue to repeat the behavior, you are enjoying what you're getting from it. Period.
You don't necessarily like it.
It doesn't mean that you like it. Okay. Doesn't mean that. It just means that you continue to repeat the behavior. All right.
Bro, I'm doing it all the time. Yeah.
Who's doing it all the time?
Tomorrow.
Sacrifice. I got to make all these sacrifices.
Yep.
The more sacrifices that you engage, the more sacrifices that you put out there, the more of yourself you lose. Let me repeat that. The more sacrifices you make, the more of yourself you lose. Eventually, you get to a point, and maybe this is you, maybe you've done this, where you look in a mirror and you don't even know who you're looking at. What is that? What is that in the mirror? That's not me. I don't even know what that is.
Is this all there is to life?
Yeah. Is this all there is? Does it really not get better than this? Is this what's meant for me?
I'm supposed to be doing this.
I'm supposed to be where I am right now.
Life is about sacrifices. I've heard that one before.
Oh yeah. Of course it is. The more sacrifices, the better. Then eventually you get to a point where you got to sacrifice your limbs. Okay? You got to cut off an arm. Then you got to cut off your kid's arm. Make sure to do that. Okay, then you're not sacrificing enough. You don't cut off your kid's arm. Then you cut off their leg.
God.
Come on, if you're going to sacrifice, go all the way. Go all the way. Don't half-ass the sacrifice. Sacrifice your firstborn, your secondborn, the futureborn. Sacrifice them all.
Last time I looked in the mirror, I didn't recognize myself. I felt like I was dying from all the obligations I had tied to myself.
Who's that?
Thanks, dude.
There you go. There you go. When you start looking at all the obligations that you have put into your experience, you don't even know what you're looking at. You're not you. You have just made yourself the obligation. Let me repeat that. You just made yourself the obligation. You're not looking at you. You're looking at all your obligations when you look in that mirror. And when you look at everything in your life, what are you seeing? Obligations. Oh, I have to do this. I'm supposed to do this. I am where I'm supposed to be right now. You are a walking obligation. How many of you feel that way?
Oh, yeah.
That you are a walking obligation. That no matter what you do, you have more obligations. And then when you get rid of one obligation, you got 10 more that's popping up. 10 more obligations. You're like, oh my God, man, can I get a break?
Hydra.
What?
Hydra. You know the monster where you cut off one of its
Oh,
heads?
yeah.
Too bad.
And 2 more back. Yeah.
Yeah. All the time. Yeah. Yep. Everything is an obligation.
Everything. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, everything is an obligation. Okay, so let's go through the rest of this here. Obligations make things very difficult in your experience because you perceive specific outcomes. Anytime you have an obligation, there is a specific outcome attached to it. Look at your obligations. Oh, I have to pay my bills. Okay, obligation number 1, I pay my bills. Okay. When you pay your bills, there is an expectation that services will continue. Right? Let's say you pay your debt. You pay off your debt, right? Well, that's an obligation too. What is the expectation of that? Oh, if I pay my debt, I'll improve my credit. I can tell you for a fact that is not how it works, okay? But people like to tell themselves that. You can pay off your debt and still have absolutely horrendous credit. Okay? But regardless, this is what we said. We say this. Yes.
It's almost like something couldn't be an obligation if it didn't come with an expected outcome.
Yes. That is, yes. When you remove the expectation, it is no longer an obligation. You don't feel like it's an obligation. You don't feel as if it's something you must do. But let's look at other obligations. Your job. Okay? Well, when you go to work, there's an expectation that you get paid for the time you put into working. Right?
If it was a maybe, nobody would be going to work.
Exactly. If there was a maybe, like, you might get paid today.
I might show up tomorrow.
Right.
Fuck you.
But yeah, no one would go. Imagine you went to work on maybe I'll get paid. Right?
Yep.
You never go. But what the fuck is the point of going? Funny enough, that's exactly how it works. And yet you still go anyway. Like,
illusion of security.
Yeah. Hell. That's how it works anyway. This keeps us from engaging in activities because we are so focused on one element of the experience. So what this means is that because it's an obligation, we get tunnel vision. Now, for those who don't know what tunnel vision is, it means that when you look in a direction, okay, that all you see is that direction. You don't see anything in its surroundings. You only see that one thing. When you have tunnel vision. And what happens in your experience is you start shifting between tunnels. Eventually, you end up at a nexus where you see obligation A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then you're like, well, which obligation am I going to experience right now? So on and so forth. We do these things because we believe that the outcome, that whatever outcome we are looking to achieve is better, okay? Better than what not knowing would be. Okay, so me knowing that I'm going to, and knowing by that, I mean, think you know, but let's just say knowing for now. You knowing that by going to your job and doing X, Y, and Z and getting paid, okay, that's better than not knowing if you're going to get paid. Does that make sense? But
I have the obligation and what you think you know versus freedom and question mark.
Right.
Yes.
See, it's really tough for us to let go of the idea. It's really tough for us to let go of the idea that we don't know when our next paycheck is going to come in. It's really tough. We don't know when our next money is going to come in. We don't know how we're going to pay our bills. Most of us can't live like that. But we claim we want freedom, but we want certainty to go with it. Guess what? There is no certainty with freedom. Let me repeat that for you. There is no certainty with freedom. In fact, nothing is more uncertain. Nothing is more uncertain than freedom. But people want, quote unquote, financial freedom, which is a farce. Okay, it's a lovely farce, but it's a farce. Oh, I want financial freedom. No. You want to be a financial prisoner. Oh, if I make more money, I'll have financial freedom. And that's how you get marketed to. People go, oh, well, just learn how to make $10,000 a month. And then you're like, oh my God, if I make $10,000 a month, that'll settle everything. But it doesn't. Doesn't settle shit. You're still stuck with you being the obligation. Note what I said there. You're still stuck with you being the obligation.
Mara said something interesting.
Go for it.
It sounds like an obligation is like an investment.
That's, you know what? Facts.
Cookie for you.
Now you got to sip my drink. There you go. There you go, tomorrow.
Andre Spittle. There's no certainty regardless, so you might as well have the freedom. Facts.
It's easy to say that. It's a whole nother thing to live that.
But she's right. There's no certainty regardless.
I agree. I agree. See, you only think you have certainty. You only think you do. For people who are entrepreneurs, business owners, etc., there is no more uncertainty than being reliant on yourself to produce for your business. There is no greater uncertainty than that. And most of us are not built for that. Not built for it. Now, that's not to say that someone can't build that. Of course they can. But most of us don't have the, what I'll call fortitude, to go with that level of uncertainty for themselves. They need a safety blanket. Imagine how much uncertainty you have with yourself to sit there and say that you need a safety blanket.
Oh, fuck.
That you got to have a backup plan. Imagine how much uncertainty that you are saying in regards to yourself. You don't trust yourself at all because you got to have a backup plan. You got to put all your energy into some kind of an external thing. So what do people do? They go, oh, I want to make passive income. I want something that's turnkey that I don't have to involve myself in so that I can just make all this money. Talk about not being certain about yourself. I had a conversation yesterday, a very brief one. I had a conversation with someone who was telling me that they really enjoyed stocks. But they've been doing it for 10 years. And they have put so much of themselves into those stocks. So much. Only to find out that they have put way more money into the stock than they did with anything regarding themselves. And they have made no money out of it, despite being in it for 10 years.
Man, they love it. They love it so much.
Now, some of you may have played around with stocks and maybe you saw a little bit of a marginal increase, or maybe you even got a burst, but it wasn't consistent. It just didn't seem to work out. Right? The thing is, everyone plays with stocks. Everyone. You just don't know what stock you're investing in. And as Tamara ever so beautifully stated, the stock that you're investing in is your obligations. Because think about it. You invest more and more energy into those obligations. Right? Your stock keeps rising. It keeps going up. So you keep piling on more and more obligations. And that stock keeps rising. You haven't even dealt with the old obligations yet. But you got more. And then you get more and more and more and more until you get to a point like, whoa, this is too much. Well, you put it there. You did it. Right? So, we do this because we think that this is the best thing for us, for our experience. We do this, and we do it without question. We tell ourselves we got to sacrifice. We tell ourselves that we blah, 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 blah. Right? But we have absolutely no idea what is best for us. We have no clue. No clue. Maybe what's best for you is to do jumping jacks. Now you may go, I don't understand how jumping jacks could help me with this and that. You don't know nothing. You know nothing. It's when you get to the state of I don't know, that you live there, that you get to a point where you know everything there is to know, which is nothing. Now that may sound like, well, wait a second. If I know nothing, doesn't that mean I know something? So you just now, this is how you run yourself in loops. This is why we're even having this conversation.
You gotta be a fucking smartass.
This is why I often say, stop knowing shit. The only thing that you know is what you think you know.
Maria.
What's that?
What if the unknown is the known? Being a fucking smartass.
The thing is, the unknown can never be known. It never will be known, because the moment it's known, it's no longer unknown. Stop knowing shit. You don't know anything. So many of us think we understand how life works. We think that we have a clue. You don't have any clue. None. You just think you do. And you use the greatest liar of your entire life. You know what it is? Your experience. Let me repeat that. You use the greatest liar of your entire life. Your experiences, or what you remember of them, is a great liar. Because the only thing that you actually remember about the experience is what you think happened, not what actually happened. What you remember in your experience is what you think happened. Oh, I was sitting outside and my cousin, blah, 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 and this shit happened and that shit happened and this, that, and other. The only thing that you know at all is what you think happened. And you can sit here and say, well, that's just my perspective. So of course that's what happened. But how do you know with any level of certainty that that is what happened? You don't. You're remembering maybe 0.0001% of actually what took place. And that number I just made up. Just like you make up your experiences. When you do this in your life, you are investing in a single outcome. A single outcome. And it prevents you from seeing, you're investing in a specific outcome or the lack of the specific outcome. And you miss everything else that could have happened in your experience. I'll give you an example. Okay. Let's say that you wanted to get a new car. Okay. And that new car, it doesn't matter what model it is, but that new car was something you absolutely thought you wanted. You go to the dealership or you go to the person who's selling the car and you go, you know what? I really want that vehicle. But they tell you, you know, unfortunately, I can't sell that. Someone else has bought it and I'm just holding it. Right? Now, you leave because you think that outcome doesn't work. It's no good. Okay, you leave because of this. But what if that person could have came back and say, hey, actually, I know someone else who could have that vehicle. But you left before you could even have that opportunity because you were invested in one outcome. Okay. You could miss everything else. Maybe someone has a different vehicle, something else that you could like. Maybe that person could say, hey, maybe you could talk to the person who bought this and see if they would be willing to part with it for something else. Whatever the case is, you have shut yourself off from all the other possibilities because you were looking only at the one. When you invest in a single outcome, you either look at the success or the failure of it. When you look at your experience, you'll see this everywhere. You'll see it everywhere. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, you will see this everywhere. You can look at your life right this moment and see this. You can look at your life right now and see how you've invested in specific outcomes. Oh, well, I was supposed to get paid by so-and-so, but that client hasn't paid me yet. wow, let me focus all my energy on getting this money from this client instead of getting other clients that'll pay me. Okay. Just that right there. Just that right there. You are investing in a singular outcome, tunnel vision, and you are refusing to see anything else, regardless if it would have been better or worse. Does this sound familiar? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Does it sound familiar that when you invest in a single outcome, you only look at the success or failure of that outcome? You don't even consider that something better could come along. And even if you did for a fleeting moment, it goes, and then you just go, well, it didn't work out.
Exactly.
So let's move on. Okay. Now, here's the thing. You may be going, well, how do I stop doing this? How do I stop investing in this stock? Well, how do you stop investing in any stock? You stop putting money in it, right? In this particular case, the money is your feelings, your emotions. You stop investing in that stock. All right. Now, one of the questions I get a lot, and I love this question, I love it, is how do I know? First off, any question that starts with how is automatically amusing to me. But how do I know when I've stopped doing it? Get that question a lot, all the time. How do I know when I stop doing it? Well, the moment you stop asking that question is the moment you stop doing it. That's simple. The moment that question doesn't even pop up in your head is the moment you stop doing it. Boom. Right there. Bingo. If you have to ask, you didn't stop. Let me repeat that. If you have to ask, you didn't stop. You didn't stop. Now, what I'm going to tell you now is we're going to talk about transitioning out of this specific thing. And these are things that you can actually put to use right now, today, this moment. Okay, you don't have to wait 10 years. All right, you can do it right now. So I want to give you guys a comparison for your understanding. Okay, so there's a long way that we do things. Okay, we have this expectation, and if you are one of these people, put it in the chat, that there is this long, elongated process that you have to be engaged in before you let something go. That it has to be, and this is very popular in like psychology or psychiatry. It's very popular there. It's also really popular in like different coaching practices that you have to go through this long, arduous process before you get the desired result. Okay. How many of you have experienced this? That there has to be this really long process to making sure that you get past things. And then you got to double check your double checking, which is then quadruple checking. And then you quintuple check because you're not sure about your quadruple checking. And then you sextuple check, and then you just keep going, right? Then it's octuple checking, and then whatever. And then eventually you get to a point where like, man, it's just too much shit. How many of you do this? This long, arduous process. This process, this long, arduous process, is exactly what you did to yourself to keep you running in circles. There is a much shorter way. It doesn't have to take years. It doesn't have to take years. Something I like to say is that if you're not okay with having nothing, you're not okay with having everything. If you're not okay with having nothing, you're not okay with having everything. And vice versa. If you're not okay with having everything, you're not okay with having nothing. It goes both ways. No gray area. Okay? Ultimately, we want to get rid of the expectations that we have surrounding whatever outcome we're looking to achieve. So I'm going to give an example, all right, because I haven't given enough of those. Here's a question I get quite a bit. How do I know the difference between something I really want to do and something I feel like I absolutely have to do regardless? Is this something that you thought? Put in the chat. Is this a question that you have asked yourself? Put in the chat. Guess what?
Yes.
All right. So if this is something that you have done, okay, don't worry. It's okay. You didn't know any better. Okay. The moment that you ask this question, you have actually entered what I like to call the phase one trap. Okay. The phase one trap, it's right there on the cusp of escape. Okay. You're like, I want out of this. No more. But then you go, but how do I know the difference between these two things? And it's a trap. And it's a damn good one because it keeps you running around. So you start looking for answers, et cetera, et cetera. Yes.
Will you repeat the question again?
The question was, how many of you have asked yourself, how do I know that it's something that I really want to do versus something that I feel that I absolutely must do regardless? That is the question.
An obligation.
Yes.
Do I want to do it, or is this an obligation and I just am pretending it's not?
Right. Now, pretty sure that all of us have done this to some extent, or all extents. And we've all done this, that we've convinced ourselves of obligations that aren't actually really obligations at all. But it keeps us from actually exploring what we want to have in our experience. So here's a question I have for you all that I'd like for you to take a few seconds to consider and then answer, okay? What is it that you get excited about? What is it in your life that you get so excited about that it doesn't matter what it is, right? What is it? Other people don't matter. The obligations that you have don't matter. You just get so excited about it that it's a must regardless. And it can even be something that you have deprived yourself of because of the obligations, but you get really excited about it nonetheless.
Houses, traveling to Hawaii, taking charge, talking about this, being with my dogs and nature, traveling and dancing.
Okay.
Everyone loves traveling.
Well, I guess.
Movies, chess, novels.
Chess. I like that. I mean, I like all of them, but chess.
Performing new experiences, new places, music and art.
Okay. Now, everyone who gave something that they do, music, art, chess, traveling, etc., etc. How many of you is that particular thing what is prevalent in your life? So, in other words, is chess prevalent in your life? Is it something you do all the time? And when I say all the time, I mean all the time. Okay. Are you traveling all the time? Are you having those new experiences all the time? Are you doing that? And hell, if you were having those new experiences, would you even notice? Of course, that's a different question. But how many of you, that is what you do your whole life? That's everything you do.
No, yes, no. Some, no. 90%.
90%, what is that?
I don't know what that means.
All right. So I'll just err on the side of this is not something you do all the time. Maybe there is for some elements, but for the most part, your life doesn't revolve around doing that thing. Okay? Most often than not, and this actually becomes very prevalent with business owners, okay? At least in my experience, I can't speak for everyone else's experience, but with business owners, they're working a business that they think they should be doing because they think that there is some type of necessity to actually working that business. And what ends up happening is they put so much of themselves into this false idea of the business that they are building. They put so much of themselves into it that they don't get to experience their life. Okay, they don't get to have fun with what they're doing. Everything feels like a chore, right? It feels like a chore. Oh, I have to do this. This is so awful. This is the worst. You know, why do I have to do this particular thing with my business? Why do I have to blah, 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 blah? Why does everything seem like such a drag when it comes to your business, right? I see this with business owners, but I see it everywhere else too. I see it with parents when it comes to their kids, even though they won't admit it, right? I see it with people who work jobs that they don't really want to be at, but they do it because of some sense of obligation, right? So here's the question that I'm going to put into your sphere, okay, that I want you to ask yourself when this type of situation comes up. And when I say this type of situation, I mean, is this something that you should be doing in your experience? Are you experiencing excitement for the thing that you're doing, or are you experiencing fear of what you think you know in your experience? This is a very big distinction between these things. Okay, when you experience excitement, let's just take this for your own experience. Okay, when you experience excitement, you want to do it. You don't care, right? There is no resistance. Okay, maybe there's a little bit of trepidation, maybe there's a little bit of fear, but there's nothing actually stopping you from engaging in that behavior whatsoever. Okay, you're excited, like, yes, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna have fun doing it, right? Or whatever is gonna happen. You don't give a shit about the outcome. You just do it because damn, you get to have that experience, regardless. Okay, so business owners, this is a question you should be asking yourself about your business. Okay, are you experiencing excitement toward your business, or are you experiencing the fear of what you think you know? Or in this particular case, obligation toward your business, right? Are you working your business? And again, this isn't just business owners. I'm just using them as an example for right now. Are you working your business because you're excited about it? You love it so much that you can't help but talk about it. You talk about it no matter what you do. Every single thing you do is talk about it. You basically are just having one gigantic party every single time you talk about it, that you discuss it, that you go hang out with people and they ask what you do. And you say it with such, can't help but become more curious about what you're doing. Or are you saying, well, I'm not going to talk to this type of person about my business because it really wouldn't fit for them? Are you rationalizing who you talk to it about, who you talk to about your business or about you or whatever it is in your experience? Oh, well, Debbie won't understand. That's fear of what you think you know. Oh, well, Debbie won't understand. So I can't talk to Debbie about it, but maybe I can talk to Marsha. What you think you know, right? It's all about what you think you know. Are you experiencing fear of what you think you know? Or are you experiencing excitement? Now, most of the time when people think they're experiencing excitement, they're actually experiencing fear of what they think they know. Because they're like, man, I'm so excited about this, but I can't do that because of this and this is getting in the way, and this is the... Then you're not excited about any of that. You are experiencing fear of what you think you know. Does this make sense? Put it in the chat. Does this make sense? Does this click for your life? For your experience?
Can someone actually be excited about their business? I feel like one cannot be happy about every aspect of their business.
Why not? See, that is a limitation that you have imposed upon yourself. Okay? That is a limitation that you have accepted. Oh, no, there's no way you could be excited about every aspect of your business. It's you. Your business doesn't exist without you, right? So what are you really getting excited about? Your business or you? You. What, you can't be excited about every aspect of yourself? You can't? You can't be like, yo, man, let me share things about me up. You can't do that? Are you that ashamed of you, yourself? Are you? Are you? Anything that you talk about in regards to your business or anything that you do, the one common denominator is you. No matter what happens, no matter where you go, you are the common denominator. So why wouldn't you be like, yo, man, I'm the fucking shit, homie. Yo, check out the shit I'm doing. Or better yet, not even the shit I'm doing. Check me out. Check me out. You know what people ask me, hey, what do you do? I go, fuck if I know. Fuck if I know. I don't know. I do shit. But when they ask me about things, they say, okay, well, what did you do for this? Or what did you do this and that? I have no problem talking about it. Oh, yeah, I had this time. I talked to this person. I thought it was great. I had a great time, blah, blah, blah. I do this stuff. I just talk. Whatever that is. Whatever that is. So, are you experiencing excitement to the point where you talk about it and you don't give a shit who listens? You don't care. You can have one person there or no one. It doesn't matter. You can have 1,000 people there or no one. And it doesn't matter. You enjoy it. You love it. Because you enjoy yourself and you love yourself. Or are you experiencing fear of what you think you know? Well, if I do this, then it's going to take away from this and this, all those sacrifices we were talking about earlier. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? Put it in the chat.
If you don't like accounting, hire an accountant.
Yeah, for real.
No, but I can't give them money because then I won't have money for me.
You already don't have money for you. You already don't have it. Look at how poorly you treat yourself. Oh, no, I treat myself well. I'm just broke. Then you don't treat yourself well.
What about people who don't know what's exciting? What would you say to them? I don't know what I find exciting.
Well, you know what you don't find exciting, right? You know, I first and foremost, whoever asked that question, I want to give you a high five, because the thing is that is actually the case. Most people don't know what they're excited about at all, right? So I'll come back to what I asked you before. Are you excited about yourself? That's the only thing that you ever really need to be excited about in the first place. Because the one common denominator between everything you could ever do is you. That you could ever experience is you.
Since your entire experience comes from you, if you're excited about you, then you're naturally going to find things that you get excited about that appear to be outside of you. But if you're fucking miserable with yourself, you're going to find more misery.
If you're asking, what if I don't know what I'm excited about? You're already telling me that you can't stand yourself. You can't stand yourself. You hate your life the way you hate all of it.
Oh, you lying, Charlotte. You're fucking lying.
What does she say?
I love myself.
Liar.
I don't know what's exciting, but I love myself.
Liar. Lying through your teeth.
I find myself incredibly boring, but I love myself. I adore that, Andre.
Excuse me?
Maria said I adore that, Andre. Felicia has a headache now.
Terrific.
You don't have to say you like yourself like it's some kind of right answer.
No. This isn't about right or wrong. Okay? This isn't about that. This isn't about that. Okay? Now, here are 3 questions that you can ask yourself about whether or not this will help you understand whether or not you're excited about something, okay, or if it's fear of what you think you understand. 3 questions, okay? The first question, get a pen and paper if you haven't already done that, which you should have did already, or you can just come back and watch the recording. The first question is, can you do it regardless of if you get paid or not? That's the first question. Number 1, can you do it regardless of if you get paid or not? If the answer is yes, move on to the next question. If the answer is no, then we're talking about fear of what you think you know.
Obligation.
Yep. Because now, here's the other thing. If you say this phrase, this is the same thing. Someone will say, oh, I have this thing I absolutely love to do. I love it so much, but I can't make a living off of it. That's what you think you know. So all those other people in your experience that make livings out of literally balling up yarn, okay, you somehow can't make a living out of something else. Fuck out of here. Okay? Fuck out of here. Can you do it regardless if you get paid or not? Okay? That's the first question. The second question, can you do it just for fun and not take it seriously? Let me repeat that for you. Can you do it just for fun and not take it seriously? If you apply these questions to everything in your life, you'll find out just how many obligations you have.
If people can sell their farts in a jar, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can make money doing what you enjoy.
If people can sell dirty ass bathwater for $25,000 a vial, you can do anything to make money. But can you do it just for fun and not take it seriously? One of the fallacies that we fall under is that we got to take everything so fucking seriously. Oh, it's all serious.
You have to be professional.
Yes, you got to be top this and that, man. Shut the fuck up. All right? Shut the fuck up.
We take a question.
Go for it.
Why is it that when it starts making money, then it starts to feel like an obligation?
Love that question. Because money is an obligation to you. Let me repeat that to you. Money is an obligation. It's not the activity that you're engaged in. It's the money itself that's the obligation. Oh, I have to make money. If I don't make money, then this will happen. Now we're operating a fear of what you think you know. Maybe you've had this experience. If you're a person who's made money doing something for yourself, an entrepreneur, business owner, whatever the case you want to call it, you start working on it. You're having a great time. You absolutely love what you're doing. You love it so much that it's like, man, this is the best. And then you start making money. And then the moment you start making money, you're like, man, I can't stop making money. Money just keeps showing up. It just keeps popping up. This is fucking terrific. But then, all of a sudden, it stops. All the money ceases. There's nothing else. All the money just poof, disappeared. How many of you have had that experience?
Oh, that was weird. We cut out on Instagram.
Are we good now, or is it?
Yeah, it's starting again.
All right.
What if you're lukewarm about something? Like you like it, but it's not a strong feeling.
Interesting. If you're lukewarm about something, I don't really even know what that means. Okay. Why would you do it? Let's ask the 3 questions. I haven't got to the 3rd one yet. Ask yourself those questions. Okay? So we're looking at 2 sides of the fence, excitement or obligation, right? Question number 1, can you do it regardless of getting paid? Number 2, can you do it just for fun and not take it seriously? And number 3, can you do it ignoring the opinions of others? Can you do it ignoring the opinions of others? Those are the 3 questions. Does it matter what someone else thinks about what you're doing? Does it matter if someone says that is a complete waste of time? Will you keep doing it? Will you keep having fun doing it? Can you keep having fun doing it?
Is it difficult tomorrow? Or do you
Nah, you lying.
People's opinions?
Nah, you lying. You lying. It's not difficult. It's not difficult.
Interesting. Multiple people are like, the 3rd one is hard.
Oh yeah, of course it is. Because you're full of shit. Yeah, your bullshit stock is at a premium. Can I do this in my family? Whatever my family thinks about it, that's no good. I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. So, if that one's difficult for you, what are you saying? You are experiencing fear of what you think you know.
Freeze validation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you do it without getting validation from other people?
Now, I don't often talk about this word, but we're going to use it because this is definitely appropriate for this discussion. The word alignment. Being aligned with certain things, right? The word alignment means that things match up, right? They match up. And so, you ever have that experience where when you do something, everything just seems to go perfectly? You don't seem to have to bust your ass to get it done, for it to work out? You ever have that experience? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. What?
Oh, Maria had a question.
Go for it.
What if you love a job, for example, a job? What if you love a job, you enjoy it, you're good at it, you do it regardless, you get the validation, it doesn't really matter, but you still don't get the job you want? Oh, I'm not sure I understand.
I don't understand the question.
Well, it sounds like, okay, I don't know. Whatever. Yes, it feels strange. I call that effortlessness. Yes.
Yeah. Now, when most people experience that, they don't know what to do with themselves. They got no idea. Well, what? Shouldn't this be harder? Shouldn't this be more difficult? This should be way more difficult than it is. Way more. Way more difficult, right? Of course. Because the more difficult it is, the more you feel like you deserve it. And the more validation you get to have the moment you achieve it. So you actually sabotage your own alignment. Let me repeat that for you. You just sabotaged your own alignment. You were on a straight road and you decided to pivot left and crash into a rock. Then you're like, whoa, what the hell? What happened? You happened. You happened. You got in the way. You got in the way. When you do this, you are literally making your own experience far more difficult than it needs to be. How can you possibly sync up in your experience? How can you do this? How can you sync up to the things that you claim that you want to experience in your experience? When it's going, just flowing and happening. You're like, no, it's too much. No way, no. You get in your own way. You make it harder than it needs to be. You start asking ridiculous questions, such as my personal favorite. Okay, this is my personal favorite. Whoops. Okay, that did not go. Okay, so how can I keep this going? How can I keep this going? That question, oh boy. You want to talk about the king of complicating your experience. That question right there, boom, there it is. How can I keep this going? It's not how can I get started. It's already started. It's already happening. It's already going. It's how can I keep this going? What a way to put the brakes on your experience than to say this shit. What a way to put the brakes. Now, so we don't want this question, okay? That question is the killer of our progress. How can I keep this going is the killer of your progress. Okay? Hell, I'll even go one step further. The moment that you ask a how question, how do I do this? How do I start? How do I blah, blah, blah? The moment that you did that, you just killed your experience. You killed it. And you just went from being excited to now turning that thing into an obligation. The moment that you ask, how can I do this? How does it work? You just made obtaining knowledge an obligation because you can't make a move until you do so. Until you understand everything. That you get the ins and outs. This is what you do. This is what you do. You do this all the time. The moment you start asking how, not who, what, when, where, or why, the moment you start asking how is the moment you killed the excitement. Think about it. When you ask how to do something, are you excited when you ask that? No. In fact, you may even feel like the excitement that you had just drained from your body.
It's like when you get a Lego set, you don't know how to put it together.
Nope.
But you don't ask, how do I put it together? You just put it together.
You just fucking put it together.
You may get it wrong a couple times. Have to look at the instructions a few times, but.
Now, maybe you've heard me say something along the lines of we talk ourselves out of experiences. And some people take that, oh, well, I don't actually say anything. It just doesn't work. Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what you did to talk yourself out of experiences. Okay? If this is you, because it is, put it in the chat. Okay? When we are presented with something that we think is really cool, okay, we think it's awesome, exciting, amazing, we start, okay, this is really cool. We get that feeling, that warm and fuzzy feeling in our tum-tum, right? Get a nice warm and fuzzy feeling. Yeah, this is what I want to do. Then you start thinking about all the different possibilities. You start looking at all those possibilities and you start going, oh man, yeah, this would be cool. So let me give you an example, right? And I actually used this example this morning and it'll be perfect for this. Let's say that you had all of a sudden this idea for a giraffe with wings. Okay? A giraffe with wings. So you start thinking about all the different ideas or concepts in regards to this giraffe with wings. Okay? Are going, well, does it have small wings? Does it have large wings? Are the wings decoration or are they used to fly? Are they whatever the case may be? Is it a really tall giraffe? Is it a really short giraffe? What color is the giraffe? Is it a completely different species of giraffe? Whatever. We start coming up with all these different possibilities in our head, right? And then we get to a point where we went through all that exercise and now we're not even that curious about it anymore. We're actually exhausted. We're exhausted. We spent all that energy thinking about a giraffe with wings rather than going out and looking at one. So now you don't even feel like going out and look for one anymore. Look at one to experience what that is because you spent all that energy sitting there trying to figure it out. Figure out what it would look like. Is this you?
Yeah, kids don't do that. They just do it.
Right. Kids just do it.
Let me just draw a giraffe with wings.
Yep.
Doesn't have to be good. Yes.
Well, we sit there and think about every possible permutation that a giraffe with wings could be. And then we exhaust ourselves. Now, this is how we talk ourselves out of all kinds of stuff. Someone comes to you with an opportunity. You get a bunch of excitement, right? You get a lot of excitement. And then you start thinking about all the possibilities. You start going, wow, okay, this person gave me this amazing opportunity. If I so-and-so and blah, 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 then, and I've saved this amount of money, then I'll be able to do this with my kids and I'll be able to do that. And that'll be amazing. And then, I only have to work with them for 6 months. And then I'm working with them 6 months. Then we'll have all this money and it'll be amazing and great and blah, 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 blah. And then by the time it comes time to take the opportunity, you're like, I don't know. Because you're exhausted. You went and burned all your energy trying to figure out what it would be like rather than experiencing it. Remember what I said about how we think that there's a process to everything rather than just simply allowing ourselves to have the experience? We think about every possible permutation to the point where we're exhausted. Then you start thinking about all the things that you perceive negative. Oh, well, what if I work with them and then they decide not to pay me? What if it ends up being that the company doesn't last as long as we thought it would? And then what happens? And then you start talking yourself out of it. You start looking at all of these different positive and negatives. Now, if you were in the mentorship community, I did a class yesterday. Yeah. Or this, I don't remember. It was a couple of days ago. I did Monday mentorship. So today's Wednesday. So yes, it was 2 days ago. Anyway, I did a class where I talked about this very thing. You talk yourself out of it by talking about it in the first place. Let me put this to you very simply. Okay? You talk yourself out of it by talking about it in the first place. The moment that you start asking permission is the moment you talk yourself out of it. Oh, if they say no, I'm covered. It's okay. I knew it wouldn't work. But if they say yes, oh my God, now I have an obligation I have to fulfill. You see how you put yourself into these traps? You bury yourself. Bury, boom. And you do this over and over and over. I got this question. I want to actually address it, right? This question was, is fear the only way that we can expand? I thought it was a brilliant question. No, it's not. However, if you look at your experience, most people will not go out of their way to expand until they are absolutely terrified of something so much that they have to do something. So they go out of their way to scare the shit out of themselves to expand. The expansion doesn't have to be fear-based. However, much like what we talked about when you're looking at desired outcomes, okay, fear is yet another thing that's attached to desired outcomes. If there was no desired outcome, there'd be no fear. I repeat that for you. If there was no desired outcome, there'd be no fear. Because with a desired outcome, it's when is this going to take shape for me? Imagine how much fear that puts into you. That question right there, when is it going to take shape for me? Then you start doing everything possible to make sure it takes shape, and it doesn't take shape. Then you get frustrated. Then you're afraid. You know what you're afraid of? You're afraid that you wasted your time. You're terrified that you wasted your time. You're terrified that you wasted your energy. Does this sound familiar? So, at the very beginning of this class, I said that by the end of this class, you were going to know the answer to this question. Why is I'm supposed to be here right now? I'm supposed to be where I am right now a limitation? Give it to me. Based on everything that we talked about, why is that a limitation? Go.
Interesting. Anybody have an answer? Nobody?
Interesting. Why is I'm supposed to be here? I'm supposed to be where I am right now a limitation?
You're never supposed to be anywhere, and you're just giving yourself an excuse to not look at your life and take responsibility. You have an expectation of where you should be. Yep. Because you don't even know where you're supposed to be. Because I'm married to a specific outcome. Yep, supposed to. You're not moving.
I like every one of those. There is no I'm supposed to be where I am right now. Let's talk about the ultimate way to be a slave to your experience. I call it the ultimate way, but I call a lot of things the ultimate because I like that word, ultimate. Okay. Talk about a fantastic way to limit yourself. This is where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be suffering right now. Duh. Because I am suffering. Well, you're suffering because you're suffering. Doesn't mean you're supposed to do that. You are where you are because you're there. Doesn't mean you're supposed to be there. See, supposed, right here, obligation. Obligation. You're obligated to stay where you are. You're obligated to stay suffering. You're obligated to be miserable. You're obligated to that. You're obligated to be depressed. You're obligated to work hard. You're obligated to even have a job. You're obligated to making money. Everything that you feel obligated to, you just made the main character of your story. If you're obligated to being a nice person, that representative that you're pretending to be, just became the main character of your story.
Virginia, yeah. I'm supposed to struggle now so I can have X, Y, and Z in the future.
Who said that you're going to have that in the future anyway? Right. You don't even give it to yourself now. So what does it matter if you get it in the future?
If I suffer now, things will change.
Yeah. You'll just have more suffering. Yeah. Let me know how much that works for you.
Or if you're like, for example, say 23 years old and you're like, oh, I'm supposed to be figuring my life out right now. You can do whatever and just figure it out, and then I'll figure it out.
Well, guess what you're going to be spending a lot of your life doing? Figuring shit out. You're going to be spending a lot of your time figuring shit out. Remember what I said. When we have expected outcomes, when you say, I'm going to figure something out, that is an expected outcome. That you're somehow going to figure something out.
So Valerie, that's a limitation too. She asks, what if you experience alignment and then you say, this is where I'm meant to be?
Yeah, it's still a limitation.
Then you're stuck there.
Yeah.
Why can't you have more?
Why can't you have more than that? Like, I teach these classes, right? I negotiate when I feel like it. I do all kinds of stuff. Am I supposed to be doing those things? No. But I get to do them.
You know what's so funny? Sergio said doing the boring shit is what makes you millions. And it's funny because people always say, you know, rich people do what's hard and that's why their life is easy. And people automatically assume that means they're working 24 hours a fucking day. But no, they're the ones who are sitting down with themselves, expanding, questioning themselves. That's the hard shit.
Let me tell you what's real. You think that going out there and busting your ass, maybe you think this, that going out there and busting your ass is the hard stuff, and that's where millions come in. You're doing the boring stuff. First and foremost, what are you judging as boring? So let's start there.
You.
Okay. So you're boring. All right. But if your expectation is that millionaire, look, okay. All right. I'm going to take off this hat. Okay. I'm going to take off the mentor hat. And I'm going to put on the millionaire hat. Okay. Everybody knows how to be a millionaire except for a millionaire. Let me repeat that for you. Everyone knows how to be a millionaire except for a millionaire. Everyone who thinks that they have a clue of what it actually takes to be a millionaire, they're all know-it-alls. They think they understand. They think they know what they have to do. Oh, they got to do all this stuff. They got to torture themselves. They got to bust their ass. They got to do this and another. I can promise you, the last thing I do is torture myself. The last thing that I do is bust my ass. What do I spend most of my day doing? I walk back and forth in the apartment. I get on a call every so often. And I play fucking video games.
How do I become a millionaire?
Everyone who isn't a millionaire knows how to do it. But they're not millionaires. When you ask a millionaire how they did it, they'd be like, I don't fucking know.
Oh.
I just went and did what I was going to do. You know what's really hard? Sitting there looking yourself in the mirror every fucking day and looking at what you created. That's hard. Okay?
Kira. Relatable as fuck. I used to get frustrated because I would talk to a lot of millionaires who never told me anything specific on how to get there.
Yeah.
Because they don't
even know. They don't fucking know. Also, hello, Kira. Okay. They don't even know. They don't. It's all the people who aren't millionaires, who are fucking running around going, well, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. And you do this, and you save your money this way, and you do this, that are all of a sudden geniuses about being millionaires.
Morning routine.
Let me ask you this. Do you know how you're broke? Do you know how you obtained that? Do you know how you managed to be broke?
Oh, that's so true. No, it just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. Right? Oh, the system. This and other. Do you know how you ended up miserable? No. You just are. Everyone who isn't a millionaire knows how to do it.
The billionaire morning routine, right?
Yeah, the billionaire morning routine.
Do this every day.
And then you want to know what's really fucking hard? Making a bunch of money and then losing that shit. Okay? Making a ton of money and then losing it. And doing it more than once. Because you thought you were doing the right thing. Okay, because it's not even about the money. It's not about the money. It's about what you emotionally invested into it that makes it hard. Everyone who isn't a millionaire knows how to do it. But the millionaires, they'd be like, I don't know, I just worked on myself. I don't know what else to tell you. Well, is there anything specific you can tell me? No. They went through and they made I can tell you what they did. They broke their limitations, and everyone has a different set of limitations they put on themselves. So your road isn't necessarily going to be the same as theirs. It won't be. So there's nothing they can tell you that will help you on your journey. You know what? I get this question sometimes, and I just chuckle. How can I do that without all the pain and suffering?
Just do it without the pain and suffering.
You're already in pain and suffering. Because you had to ask that question. You go to any millionaire, they will be like, I have no idea what I did.
Right.
Millionaires, billionaires, et cetera, I don't know. Then what do? The person who's not a millionaire, of course you had to know. Of course you did. The people who aren't millionaires aren't willing to look themselves in the mirror. They can't even look in the mirror. They can't even glance in the mirror. They can't even glance in the mirror. Why don't I make more money in my business? What do you mean? Maybe it's because, just humor me for a moment, maybe it's because you aren't developing your own expansion. Maybe what you're looking for is a cheat code to skip ahead. Oh, if I had this money, then it'd be okay, no problem. How? What did I just finish saying about how?
If you take the H out of it, what are you left with?
Ow! That shit fucking hurts.
Ow.
Every time you ask how, you're hurting yourself. Think about it. You're sitting there like, well, how? I don't understand. You're driving yourself crazy trying to figure it out. Ow!
There you go, Kira. So apparently Kira skipped a business training that she got a free ticket to the tune of $4,000 because of the systems, and she knows it's just not going to work. So she's not going. And she's here instead.
Well,
we love that. At the expense of the feelings of the person leading it. I love that. Don't go just to make someone else feel good. Why do we feel boredom about stuff? Or how do I stop feeling boredom about myself?
First and foremost, if you're experiencing boredom about yourself, you are not appreciating yourself. Period. You are not Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I gotta take off the millionaire hat, mentor hat. Okay. You're not appreciating yourself. You're not appreciating your experience. If you're bored, boredom means you're not expanding. Let me repeat that for you. If you're bored, you're not expanding. You are literally sitting there doing nothing, not expanding, not growing. If you were constantly expanding, you'd never be bored. Let me repeat that. If you were constantly expanding, you would never be bored. So look at your boredom as stagnation.
And these are all things your intuition can help you with.
Yes.
Figure it out.
Now, for everyone that's going to be coming to the Wealth Accelerator, I made the section today. I'll be posting it. I was actually going to post it yesterday, but got tied up. I made the section for the Wealth Accelerator. I got some videos that I'm going to be putting in there just to prep everyone for the Wealth Accelerator. Okay. For everyone that's going to be a part of that, that is like, okay, you know what? I'm sick of this shit. I'm going to do the Wealth Accelerator. Fuck it. All right. If you think it's going to be a walk in the park, you got another thing coming. I am going to kick the shit out of you because we need to break this stuff so that you can start experiencing all the wealth in your experience. You can't even see it. And we're going to point it out. We're going to allow it. We're going to help you allow it to come into your experience. Okay? And notice when it shows up. Because right now you got tunnel vision. This is intuitively guided, by the way. So we're going to be working very closely with your intuition to get you there. To get you there. To get you there. All right? So if you're going to be in the Wealth Accelerator, you'll start to experience that. And every day you're going to be getting the shit kicked out of you. You're welcome. So I'll take some questions.
Let's see. Oh, well, Doc said something interesting.
Go for it.
Millionaire OnlyFans creators work on themselves daily. That's literally the difference that makes the difference. It has nothing to do with looks or weight or editing skills.
Nope. And you're absolutely right, Doc. That's exactly what they do. Work on themselves all the time. Working on themselves is not a part-time job.
And it doesn't include going to the gym.
No, it doesn't. No. I mean, it can. It can, but it's not necessary. Okay? But them working on themselves, those OnlyFans creators that work on themselves, I work with an agent, okay, who actually, we won't go into all the details, but I work with an agent who works with these type of people, and they are constantly working on themselves. Constantly. It's not just, constant growth and expansion. Because let's say you got it. How would you be able to handle it emotionally? Most of us wouldn't be able to.
How can people sign up for the Wealth Accelerator?
I'm going to be posting it. I'm going to be going out in a little bit here, but I'll be posting it. I've actually already made the section for it. It'll be in the community. And yeah.
You'll know when it's ready.
Yeah, it'll be up.
Andre's going out today.
I am.
Ooh. Maya said, I was bored today. I didn't feel inspired to do anything. It was frustrating. And the question I posed to her was, why do you have to do something at all? And I've fallen into this trap before. The idea that I'm doing something is what makes me not bored. I have to be doing something to avoid boredom. But that's not true.
When sitting there could be exactly what you need.
Sitting with yourself is not boring if you let go of the expectations.
You know, I've mentioned this before, but I'll say it again. In traditional Chinese Kung Fu, the final test for people is whether or not they can pick up a cup. Now, that may sound, what are you talking about? Picking up a cup, that doesn't mean anything, right? You may think this. But the truth is that if you can pick up a cup without ever thinking about it, you just simply do it. Boom. That's everything in your life, everything in your experience. Can you pick up that cup without thinking about it? Okay? This isn't about you being fast. This isn't about you being a speed demon or even doing it slowly. It is simply about, can you pick up the cup without thinking about it? As soon as it hits you to pick up the cup, boom, you picked it up. Most people think they can do that. They can't even come close. They can't even come close.
The only time I ever experience boredom is when I'm doing something I don't like. Interesting. Yeah, that rides.
Yeah. So if you're doing something you don't like and you get bored, what does that mean? Oh, it means you're not appreciating yourself.
That's right. That's what I was just gonna say. If you're sitting there bored, like what do I do? You're doing something you don't like, which is not appreciating yourself. Your intuition is like, hello.
Like,
Hello.
like, can we get back to us, please?
I sat with myself quite a bit today, and then I did something, and then I'd sit, and then I'd do something, and then I'd sit. Like Peter.
Yeah.
That's good, Leslie. Good for you. I have a bad conscience all the time. Not working enough, not doing enough for my kids. I'm so exhausted. That's Tamara.
Of course you're exhausted. Of course.
That's called beating yourself up.
Yeah, stop it. Oh, let me beat you up instead. I'll come over with a baseball bat. We'll settle this right away.
Oh, you wouldn't like it very much if that happened. When you beat yourself up, it's okay.
Yeah. If I came over and beat the shit out of you with a baseball bat, you'd be like, what the fuck? Stop it.
I'm good. Stop.
But you beat yourself up with a baseball bat. It's cool. No problem. Yeah, that's cool. It's all good.
So, working on yourself. Be willing to look in the mirror. If you can't look in the mirror, I would suggest going to look in the mirror.
What a fantastic idea.
Brenda says, come over.
I'm
ready. I'm ready for whooping. Let's all do that today. Let's take a good look in the mirror and see what comes up.
Why not? Why not?
Including you, Adriana, Miss Mirror.
Yeah, Miss, I'm going to remove all my mirrors when I get home. Yeah.
Yeah, Anastasia, we love masochism.
Oh, don't you?
Sadism.
Don't you, man? You need your hit for today.
Masochism's okay, but sadism is
No, that's no good. That's no good.
I'm going to hire a babe to sit in my mirror. Aren't you a babe, Doc? Come on.
Oh, come on, man. And this man just can't stop avoiding himself. You got to put a babe in there instead. Like, come on. Come on, homie.
Hilarious. All right. I expect a report back from all of you about your mirror sitting experience.
I have no such expectation. Okay. But yeah, Wealth Accelerator will be posted. And like I said, it's 4 weeks. It's going to be, and if for some reason you happen to miss a class, which I have no idea why you would do that. But if you happen to do so, you'll be able to see the replays in there. But it'd be a lot easier if you did it live, because then we can make sure to expand that experience and all that. That's the whole idea. So, yeah.
All right. Anything else?
That's it, man. That's a
right.
wrap.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Adios.
Just kidding. Wait, what is the Wealth Accelerator?
The Wealth Accelerator is a 4-week program that I'm putting together to help people break the limitations that they've put on themselves. It'll be intuitively guided, meaning me, you, and your intuition will be working together to break you of your bullshit. I will be teaching you all the tricks that I have anyway, in regards to using your intuition to help you clear the road for you to experience the wealth that you want to have. Okay? That's the Wealth Accelerator. So we're basically going to take what took me 3 years to get and condense it down into a month.
Damn. Speed. Okay.
Hence why it's called an accelerator.
Accelerator. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Adios.